In this video, I promise to show you why you're not too late to start investing in your 40s and even in your 50s. Look, let me ask you a serious question. What if the biggest investing advice you've ever heard your entire life doesn't apply to most people? And you've probably heard this story before. Start investing in your 20s, invest consistently, leave the money alone. And 40 years later, poof, you retire wealthy, wearing a Hawaiian t-shirt, white linen pants, on a beach sipping pina coladas. But here's the question. What if you didn't start investing in your 20s? What if you started investing in your 40s or even in your 50s? Does that mean your retirement plan is already broken? Because in this video, I want to show you 3 reasons why you aren't too late. First, why the start early or your doom story is more misleading than people realize. Second, the stats that prove when most people actually begin investing. And third, why starting later in life may not necessarily be as dangerous as it sounds. Because once I understood this, it completely changed how I think about retirement planning. I'm Neil Richard. If you've been thinking a little too much about money lately, this channel is for you. Here on The Long View, I share calm perspectives on long-term investing, retirement strategies, and how to build portfolios that let you sleep at night. Because when you start investing later in life, you don't need complexity. You need clarity. So, in this video, we're going to look at something that almost never gets discussed honestly. The reality of when people actually start investing. Because the story is very different from what most people experience in real life. Most investing advice begins with the same example. Someone starts investing at 22. They invest every month. They stay invested. They never panic. And 40 years later, they retire with a fortune. But that story leaves out something important. It assumes that most people actually start investing in their 20s. And the reality is, many people don't. According to research from the Federal Reserve, nearly half of Americans under 35 have zero retirement savings. Zero. And the median retirement balance for households under 35 is only around $18,000, which means millions of people aren't investing meaningfully in their 20s at all. But the data even gets more interesting. Check this out. Research from the Transamerica Center for Retirement Studies shows the median age people begin saving seriously for retirement is around 35 or 36, not 22, 36, which means something important. The idea that everyone starts investing in their 20s is mostly a myth. For many people, the real investing life doesn't begin until their 40s. And when you think about it, this actually makes sense. In your 20s, life is usually chaotic. Careers are just beginning. Income is low. Debt is high. You have student loans, moving cities, changing jobs, getting married. Financial stability takes time. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, earning tends to peak around the ages of 45 to 54, which means something interesting. The years when people finally have their highest income often happens much later than financial advice suggests. And that's often when investing starts to become serious. Not because people were irresponsible, but because life took time to stabilize. Here's the problem with the start early narrative. It quietly creates a dangerous belief. If you didn't start investing early, you're already behind. And when people feel behind financially, they start making emotional decisions. They chase higher returns. They speculate. They buy cryptocurrency. They try to accelerate the process instead of following a plan. They start reacting to the market. Ironically, that behavior often creates more financial risk because retirement success rarely comes from one perfect decision. It comes from consistency. And consistency works even when someone starts later. Now, here's something most people overlook. Starting later can actually come with advantages, believe it or not. By your 40s or 50s, life often looks different. Income is higher, debt is lower, careers are more stable, which means the amount you can invest every month is often much larger. And that changes the math. Because while time is powerful, contribution size matters too. Someone investing small amounts for 40 years can end up in a similar position as someone investing larger amounts for 20 years, depending on the market, especially when those large contributions happen during peak earning years. This is why retirement planning isn't just about when you start. It's about how consistently you invest once you begin. So instead of asking one question, what age did I start investing? A better question might be this: do I have a system that keeps me moving forward every month? A system that keeps me invested, manages risk, and helps me stay calm when markets fluctuate. You see, retirement planning is not really about perfect timing. It's about building a structure that works over decades. A structure that keeps working even when you're not watching the markets every day. The truth is, many people start investing later than they planned. Life happens. Careers take time. Families grow. Expenses appear. But retirement success rarely depends on a perfect starting age. It depends on something quieter: consistency, patience, and staying invested long enough for time to do its work. So, if you didn't start investing in your 20s, you're not alone. In fact, statistically speaking, you're probably normal. But the moment you begin to build a simple system, something powerful happens. Process begins. And over time, small, consistent decisions start to compound. Because retirement security doesn't usually arrive in one dramatic moment. It grows slowly, year after year, decision after decision. That's the long view. If this gave you something useful to think about, consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next video.